Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with a very complicated video. This is like part unboxing, part disassembly video, part final long-term review. We're talking about the ZT0609. This is a very cool RJ Martin design, a knife that I really like from ZT. Came out earlier this year, had it for about 5 months now, and it's a great EDC knife. I think one of the best EDC designs that ZT's ever come out with. Problem I've had with it is this see-through pivot. Looks cool, seems to work fine, but you need a special tool for it. It didn't come with it. ZT was going to make us buy one. I wasn't too upset with that. A lot of people were very upset about that. I'm not that mad about it. This knife's $220 for a titanium frame lock 20 CV. That's not that bad. I wasn't too upset about that. But the problem I had with it was when we ordered this knife, we were all told that pivot tool will be available in 2 to 3 weeks. It's now 5 months later. I just got it today. I can finally take this knife apart. It's been mostly fine. The detent on it was a bit strong. I know I've seen some other people. LTK got 2 of them. His detent was very weak. Mine was a bit strong. I've used this thing a lot. It's broken in pretty good. Detent's actually pretty decent on it right now. But after 5 months, pivot's a bit gunked up. I've had to blow it out with compressed air because it's really all I could do because I couldn't get it apart. I know people are going to say, oh, you could have used one of those little pin spanner tools to get open. I know that, but I would have scratched it up for sure. I'm not that coordinated, as evidenced by this bandage I have. I was taking another knife apart last night, which has been a nightmare. I'm not going to say what that knife was until I do a video on it, which may be quite some time, because I'm going to have to get another one. But, yeah, banged my knuckle. Cut myself pretty good, so this video is going to be, hopefully, it's my first disassembly video I'm doing, and I'm doing it injured and with a special tool I've never used before, so we'll see how this goes. I am going to post it as it happens, though, so we will all see together. Then after that, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the 0609, what I've experienced with it in the last, well, over 5 months now that I've owned it. So first of all, let's look at the tool. This is the Kershaw STP tool. Oh, they range between $17 and $20. I got mine from KershawGuy.com. He still has them in stock. When they sent these out, they sent horribly low amounts. I'm not going to name the place, but one of the biggest knife resellers in the world. I made a pre-order for one of these. They had a pre-order for $75. They got 6 of them, and they're gone. So they're making them, but not terribly quickly, apparently. But Kershaw Guy still has them at the time I'm recording this. Got mine from him, $19.95. Was well happy to pay the extra $3 difference from the other place I was going to order just to get my hands on it. That end's going to be a pain to open. Let's see what it is. I did watch, and I'm going to link down below. There's a little instructional video on Kershaw's page, YouTube channel, which I would highly suggest you watch. I'm not even going to pull the rest of this instructional stuff out because I watched the video, but there is some instructions in there, it would appear. It is a pretty neat tool from watching the video. The see-through pivot obviously requires this multi-pin thing. It magnets together. I assume it's going to magnet together on the knife too, which will make things easier. It is a pretty nice tool. Got some heft to it. Definitely feels like a tool. This also works on the Kershaw fly-through. That's why it's got Kershaw branding on it instead of ZT. And I'm guessing since they're making this tool now, we're probably going to see this pivot on more stuff. So it's good there's a tool out there. It's reasonably priced for what it is. Like I said, I'm not upset about having to buy it. I'm upset that it took so long for it to come out. But let's try and take this thing apart. First thing I'm going to do, after my last night's lesson learned, and this is something I honestly often do when I'm working on a knife if I'm going to have it open, this is gaffer tape. This isn't duct tape, by the way. It doesn't usually leave too much residue. It's going to leave a bit, but we'll clean it off. I'm just going to put some on the blade so that I don't have a repeat of last night's incident on camera, because that would be quite embarrassing now, wouldn't it? So I think that's enough to stop me from killing myself. Flip it over here now. Let's see if it magnets on here. It does. It's already trying to stick. That's cool. I have not touched this at all yet, so I don't know if there's going to be Loctite on here or not. They do provide, and it's kind of fumbling around getting it lined up, though. There we go. They do provide these little holes, so if you have to provide some leverage, you can stick a screwdriver or something. That's part of the reason why I have these extra Weehaw bits laying over here in case I need some leverage. But let's just see if I can get it apart. Oh, almost. It wants to. Ah, close. Really close. Let's just take 2 of these out. I don't even know what size they are. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, the magnets hold it on there, but not by a ton. That is for sure. It's not like securely locked on there. All right, let's try this again. Yep, it's coming right off. Handy. So a little instruction thing, they said break it loose and then just use one. It's going to take quite a bit to break it loose here, I think. Yeah, it's definitely got some gunky stuff on there. It's coming right off though. It's just kind of stiff. I'm trying not to scratch this thing up, and I'm trying to look through the camera lens, so I don't know if I am or not. We will see. Oh, that side came off. Yeah, this isn't as handy as a Torx bit, I will tell you that, but it's not too bad. If someone was more coordinated than me and not looking through a camera lens, they'd probably have this off there by now. See, every time you'd have to take your hand off, it comes right off. I almost wish those magnets were a little bit stronger, but I'm kind of being picky now, I think. There we go. On their video, they show it with a Kershaw fly-through, which isn't even available yet. I'm not scratching anything up. It sounds like I am, but I assure you that I'm not. There we go. I think we're down to 1. There we are. Oh yeah, quite a bit of Loctite in there and quite a bit of gunk, as you can see. 5 months I haven't been able to tear it apart, and I carry this thing a lot, so unsurprising there. And we'll just take off this other side here. I already have a T10 on here. This is just a cheap Lowe's driver, but I use the Weehaw Torx bits. These things are awesome. Yep. 'Tis a 10. And they're coming off without having to put one on the other side, so that's nice. I use this little rubber mat just so stuff doesn't go flying. I also sometimes, right off camera, is my MacBook Pro, which has magnets on it, which when you have steel screws is really nice because it's got magnets to hold it closed, but you can just kind of drop screws on there, which is really handy. Now, is this going to come apart without being persuaded? That did. Yes, it did. Came right apart. And now, finally, the bearings I haven't seen in 5 months. Yeah, you know what? I thought it was feeling gunked up. They're not gunked up. They're just bone dry from me having to blow it out a few times. And there's some lube on the inside there. This is just a cut up little piece of t-shirt. I'm sure there are better things to use. Take the pivot out of there. And that'll do it really for stuff that I want to dump alcohol on. If I use the 91% isopropyl alcohol. Just put entirely too much of it on there. Give everything a good rub down. Very simple construction inside. But man, it's dirty from me carrying it all this time and not. Like I said, I just use this as a regular EDC knife. I'm not heavy duty on stuff. Yeah, that pivot had gotten pretty dirty. I don't do a lot of really hardcore heavy duty cutting and stuff, but I'm not particularly nice to any of my knives, that's for sure. Yep, that's a dirty pivot. Dirty, dirty, dirty pivot. I'm so glad to finally see the inside of it though. Nope, and I didn't scratch anything up too bad, so that's nice. I was kind of wondering about that. We will clean this off because we'll put some new Loctite on there before we put it back together. Whatever Loctite they used was fairly sturdy, but it's coming right off, so that's good. It's probably good enough. I could probably do better, but you guys don't want to sit around and watch that forever. Put our bearings aside up here. I like this little compartmentalized thing. I can't remember where I got it. I know it's the same one Shabazz uses because I saw it on his... he had an Amazon link to it when he did a little video about all the stuff that he uses, so it's that same one. But it is handy because if you drop a screw, if I drop a screw on this little cutting board background thing, it goes bouncing. I'm just going to clean out the inside a little bit here while I'm in here. Probably won't affect anything too much, but nice to get it out of there. Because this is very dirty inside. Too long in my pocket, not enough time getting maintained. But I couldn't. Nothing I could do about it. So I'm very glad that I finally have this tool. Because this knife has been like, the action on it has been 90%, but I knew I could make it that 100 if I could just get it apart. It was very frustrating not being able to do that. I think we're pretty good there now. I usually, honestly, use 85 weight nano oil on bearings. I think I'm going to use 10 on this. I may change my mind on that and tear it apart, but I really want it to be, it's a pretty light blade, and I really want it to free drop. It doesn't quite free drop, and that's kind of my goal with this. The 10 usually does make it free drop a bit better, but sometimes it isn't as smooth, so we'll see. We'll see which one I wind up with, but we're going to go with that. Q, you use too much oil, Brian. I know this. Don't care. All right, now which side was which on the pivot? That's the thing to remember now. Should have paid more attention to that. Do believe, yeah, 90% certain it was this side because I took that side off. So got that back through there. A little more lube there. Just a smidge. Some here. I always orientate the bearings with the kind of smooth side up and the kind of openy cage part down. There we go. Blade back on with my little safety tape. All right, and then do the same here. Nope, I already did that one. So we will just do one random cat hair. That's actually not too bad. One random cat hair is a pretty good amount for me. All right, put that side down. As I said, I already put some lube on this side, so we're not going to put any more. Oh, one thing I'm going to do where I am going to use the 85. I can't remember who I learned this trick from, but this 85 is nice because it sticks really well. So instead of lubing the whole detent track, I just like to put, that's probably a bit too much actually, but I like to put a little glob of the 85 on the detent ball. Oh, I'm sorry, I have this completely off camera. I put a little glob of the 85 on the detent ball, and it sticks there because it's thick, and it kind of carries and runs along that detent ball track. So instead of putting one line of lube, what you always wind up with too much, I wound up with too much this time too, but it's easier not to wind up with too much if you just put that little glob on there. It always seems to work well. If I'm boring you, I assure you, at the end of this video, I'm going to talk more about my long-term experiences with this knife. So if you just want to skip ahead, I'm not going to blame you for that if you're not a disassembly type person. But you know what? On every live show, I get questions about why I don't do more disassembly videos. I just want to take a moment to say I'm very proud of myself right now because not only am I doing this while potentially severely injured, I haven't sworn a bit, and that is very uncommon for me whilst I am working on knives. Normally, I'm a cursey mess. That's why I don't. You know what? I forgot to put any Loctite on this. Let's take that back off again. Spending so much time being proud of myself that I screwed something up. You know, I am happy with the quality of this pivot though, because I've been a bit clumsy doing this and it's not scratching up, so that's good. I was very worried about that that kind of chrome finish getting scratched up. I use this Loctite in the stick. I just find it easier for me. It's much easier to apply. All right, let's do this again. I can tell you now that I got that original Loctite out of here, the factory stuff, it is going much quicker. Much easier now. We're just going to get this kind of close and then put the rest of the knife together, and then we'll adjust everything. This is a pretty nice tool. I do have to say, it is a very quality tool. Ought to be for 5 months. We'll put these on first before I take the gaffer tape off, I guess. I'm very safety paranoid after last night. That was quite a gruesome mess for a minute there. But it seems like it's going to heal fine. You ever have one of those cuts where you're like, is this an emergency room thing or not? It isn't. I determined that I'm okay. Not being very coordinated at the moment, though. Let's get that. Come on now. Go in your home. There we go. That one. As most ZTs are, once you get that, you know, other than having to use that tool, as most ZTs are, I find them usually very easy to take apart and work on. And this absolutely is, other than needing that stupid tool. I've been so frustrated by this tool, I've said it before in other videos, that like this probably would be my favorite knife I own, except for the fact that I have some animosity about that tool. Just some spite. Is that scene in Seinfeld where he returns the jacket because he doesn't like the salesman, and they say, why are you returning it? And he says, spite. And they said, that's not a valid reason to return a jacket. That's kind of how I've felt about this knife. We'll see if that changes now that the tool's available, and now that I have it, maybe I'll get over that. See, gaffer tape works well. A lot of people use painter tape. I really like the gaffer tape. It's a bit more sturdy. You're definitely not going to cut yourself on it. As you can see, it left a little bit of residue. Sure, I've still got, yep, this is still wet with alcohol. It comes right off, though. I really like using the gaffer tape. I think it gives you a good amount of protection while you're working on a knife. Wish I'd have used it last night, but I was in a hurry and I thought it was going to be a quick thing, and then it wasn't. All right, it's back together. Yeah, blade centering's way off. Kind of expected that. I don't know if I'm going to need both of these or just one. Yeah, I think I just need one to get it back and centered. I have Loctite in there, so I'm sorry. I keep pulling off the camera. I used to doing these assembly and disassembly videos. All right, it's fairly well centered there now. Let's see. As I said, D10 is broken well, and it's still very good. Yeah, still not quite a free dropper, but it's getting there. That lube will move in more. It's definitely smoother, though. It was starting to get not crunchy, but you could hear that kind of, you know, when it closed. And now that's gone, so that's nice. Yeah, there we go. It's getting a lot better now. See, that's all I wanted. I just wanted that action to be that little 10% better, and I had to wait 5 months to get it. That's why I was mad. Yeah, and the detent, like I said, was a bit strong when I got it. It's broken in very, very well now. Yeah, that's not bad at all now. That's pretty good. I think I'm going to leave it just like that. Is the centering right? Yep. Centering's good. Action's better. I'm a happy man. At least enough to forget what happened before. So let's talk a little bit more before we wrap this up. It's already 18 minutes. My long-term experience was the 0609. As I said, it would be one of my favorite knives that I own, except for I was mad about not having access to this tool. It is a very well-made tool. I'm very impressed with the tool. I just wish I'd have had it earlier. But let's take all that out of the realm of context here. It's a really nice knife. I still think it's one of ZT's best EDC designs they've ever made. Fairly thin handle. I don't have all the stats in front of me. I'll link to the my full review of it down below. Very thin handle, very comfortable, carries great, very good size, fairly lightweight. 20 CV steel, great blade shape. It's a really, really, really nice knife. I've had no issues with it other than not being able to get it apart. But even not being able to get it apart, blade centering always stayed fine. The action was pretty good. It's just, it got gunked up after a while and I couldn't take it apart. As I said, I blew it out and apparently blew all the lube out of it. But now it's working really well again. I don't mind having to buy the tool. The knife's $220. It's $200 if you get one of the special editions because they come in slightly lower grade steel and S35. But I think even this at $220 plus this $17 for the tool winds to $237. I think that's perfectly fine. I think that's a really good price for it. Still do. I did put a deep carry pocket clip on it. MXG Gear offers this bronze pocket clip, which exactly matches that bronze finish, which is pretty darn impressive. It's really hard to match anodizations, and they freaking nailed it. I'm still trying to look for scratches, and I'm not seeing them on that pivot, so that's good. Speaking of scratches, I was concerned about this finish holding up, and it has held up very well. I did, very quickly after I got it, I got a scratch on it somewhere. I dropped it, but I can't see how I would have gotten that particular scratch from dropping it. Something in my pocket or something scratched it up. I can't even find it now, so I guess it wasn't that. I know it's there, though. Oh yeah, right there it is, right past the pocket clip. A little scratch there. I don't know if I did that while I was installing this deep carry clip or something in my pocket, but I do really like the knife. It's probably going to make a top 10 list or two at the end of the year. I think it's my favorite real like EDC knife that they've ever made. So I really highly recommend it. I don't have the stock clip here in front of me. I should have gotten that out. But again, I'm going to link to my full review in the end. You can see what the stock clip looks like. Stock clip was fine. I just like the deep carry, and this matches it so perfectly. And it doesn't really mess with the ergonomics at all. I guess I can feel it a little tiny tick more in my hand, but of course I can't grip it very well right now because of my stupid finger. But yeah, you can feel it a bit more, but not enough to be a hot spot or anything. And it avoids touching the lock bar, so it's really nice. MXG Gear clip again. So hope you guys have enjoyed this. It's the first time I've tried to do a disassembly, and I didn't swear much, so that's nice. And the tools are out. If you want to go to KershawGuy.com, I'll link to him down below. Hopefully he still has them. I know a lot of us are waiting on them, even those of us who pre-ordered. I pre-ordered. I had to cancel my pre-order because I found one faster. So hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.